This is the Fox 5 News Block.
We're one day away from Thanksgiving, and with that, millions of Americans are expected to travel to and from their Thanksgiving destinations over the next several days. And here in the city, we're gearing up for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade as dozens of Giants character balloons, floats, and bands are polishing up their last-minute preparations. Good afternoon. I'm Morgan Mackay. Welcome to the News Block. We're going to start first on this live look outside. Liv Johnson is here now with more on the forecast. Liv, it's so nice outside. The sun is shining. I'm not ready for that rain tomorrow.
I know it's not going to stick around too much longer, actually. We're going to have some clouds roll in later tonight. Think about 7 p.m. dinner time, maybe your commute home. They're going to be a rainy Thanksgiving. The good news is it looks like about the second half of the day could be a lot better. We could see that rain clear out, but the beginning part definitely going to be a lot of rain and snow for parts of New York State, western, central, and upstate New York. Winter chill is arriving after that, so into the weekend and through next week, we're definitely going to feel those temperatures cool down. Currently 51 in New York, 52 out east, and 49 up in the Hudson Valley. Already getting a little bit more chilly than we were yesterday, but tomorrow is going to be pretty much the same. Winds right now are from the west, 9 miles an hour. It's a little bit breezy, but our wind gusts have calmed down. So like I was saying, going into this evening, we'll see more cloud coverage roll through, and then we could see some showers really late tonight, but most of it's going to be early tomorrow morning. So this is 2 o'clock in the morning on our futurecast. You see the snow starting to gather up in Monticello, parts of Sullivan County, Ulster County, and then by mid-afternoon, it looks like those showers will be clear. Morgan?
Thank you, Liv. So here's a live look outside at Newark Liberty International Airport. The FAA says that due to staffing issues, arriving flights may be delayed at Newark Airport an average of 1 hour and 35 minutes. Meanwhile, the TSA expects to screen more than 2.9 million people today alone. And now a live look at the George Washington Bridge. AAA says some of the worst times to travel by car today are between 1 and 5. But good news for tomorrow, minimal traffic is expected on Thanksgiving Day. Now, preparations are well underway for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Skyfox HD was over the scene earlier on the Upper West Side as balloons like Pikachu were getting in formation. You have until 6 p.m. this evening to get an up-close view of the balloons ahead of the parade. If you're planning to come down to the inflation site, you can gain access at West 76th Street, 72nd Street and Columbus on the Upper West Side to watch the magic unfold.
We knew that they were going to be, inflating the balloons down here, so we popped down here to see it.
It's great because you can get up close and they can really interact with the balloons. So yeah, it's even more fun.
We think the inflation part is really magical because it's them seeing the balloons really come to life and seeing how big they can actually be.
Now the parade starts at West 77th Street and Central Park West tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. and ends in front of Macy's Herald Square. Thanksgiving football just got a lot more interesting as the New York Giants head to Texas to take on the Dallas Cowboys. On paper, this might not seem like a great matchup, but in reality, there's a lot of intrigue that goes on with these two teams. Bianca Peters spoke to sports producer Lou Albanese earlier about it, and he didn't mince words.
If they don't come out and play well tomorrow, blow it all up. This is going to determine the future of the Cowboys, the Giants,
okay, so
against the Cowboys.
If we're talking about the future of it, would it be in their best interest to keep on losing,
no,
to keep on stinking?
No, that's not
because
what I mean.
Then you get a higher draft pick.
Yeah, the draft pick smack. They can't do the draft anyhow. No, what's important is the future of Brian Daboll, the future of Joe Schoen. And listen, if you want Brian Daboll gone, like a lot of people do, then you want them to stink tomorrow. You want them to stink as bad as they stunk on Sunday.
With all the trash talking going on, Lou also questioning if Giants head coach Brian Daboll has lost the locker room. You can watch the Giants face off against the Dallas Cowboys right here on Fox 5 tomorrow. Pre-game coverage starts at 4 p.m. and kickoff is set for 4:30. Now, the White House says 3 Americans held for years in China have been released and are returning to the U.S. They are Mark Swidon, Kai Li, and John Leung. The U.S. government designated all of them as wrongfully detained. Swidon was facing a death sentence on drug charges, while Li and Leung were imprisoned on espionage charges. Now, developing news, a ceasefire between Israel and the Iranian-backed militant group Hezbollah appears to be holding in Lebanon. The agreement would end nearly 14 months of fighting between the two sides. As Fox's Carolyn Shively reports from Washington, the deal was formed after months of intense efforts by American diplomats.
A U.S.-backed ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah has civilians celebrating in the streets and streaming back to their homes in southern Lebanon. But they're returning to leveled towns and villages. 13 months of fighting have displaced 1.2 million Lebanese civilians, and local health officials say more than 3,700 have been killed. Hezbollah has killed more than 70 people in northern Israel, plus dozens of Israeli soldiers fighting in Lebanon.
All told, this has been the deadliest conflict between Israel and Hezbollah in decades.
The ceasefire is expected to last for at least 60 days as Israel withdraws its troops from southern Lebanon and Lebanon's military and UN peacekeepers move in.
We're going to take steps until the time comes when we can all breathe easy and say, yes, this is actually in effect. It is going to stick. It is going to work.
It will also give Israel some breathing room to focus on another lingering threat.
To address the main source of violence and instability, which is the Islamic Republic of Iran.
The ceasefire does not apply to Hamas fighters in Gaza or the Israeli hostages still held there.
I believe that President Trump will do a better job of showing that strong front with Israel and in doing so, give the Hamas no hope of holding out.
President Biden says he will push hard for a deal in Gaza in the coming days, but it is likely an issue that will be left for the new administration. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Now, New York City is fighting package theft by expanding its delivery locker program. Locker NYC is a free and secure place where you can send and receive packages. This is a new locker setup in Washington Heights. A dozen new locations are being added across all 5 boroughs.
Since the program launched, New Yorkers have already made nearly 5,000 reservations for secure package pickup and drop-off. And every 5,000 order has been getting to their apartments safe, and no theft happened during that process.
Make reservations online to use the system this holiday season. An estimated 2.5 million packages will get delivered each day citywide. The Radio City Rockettes have dazzled crowds at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade since 1957. But one Rockette is making history and defying the odds as the first dancer in 91 years with a visible disability. Fox 5's Deshani Whitlow has a story.
I was born without my left hand, and I am very grateful to be standing here and to show that performers of all different backgrounds can be represented as a Radio City Rockette.
Meet 27-year-old Sydney Mesher, the first Rockette in 91 years with a visible disability.
I really want to help pave the way to have a new representation for dancers, for media, for all the things, just so that people can see that disabilities are nothing to pity. Having a disability is power.
Born without her left hand, dance has always been Sydney's outlet.
My parents like to joke that I came out of the womb dancing. It's very natural to me. I experienced bullying, but I experienced that for other things other than my hand. I had to get to know myself, and I had to get some thick skin, and I am grateful to be here now, and I wouldn't be here now if I didn't go through those experiences.
She commands the stage with such grace that her disability goes unnoticed.
I've just worked really hard my entire life so that I could be comfortable and confident in my training, so that when I am on stage performing, that no matter what people notice, if it's my hair color or if it's my hand, they're impressed with what I'm doing with my body. The Radio City team has made sure that I feel very comfortable, from prop modifications to costume alterations. Our fastest quick change is 78 seconds.
Wow.
We take off a full costume, including hat, wig cap, socks, shoes, and then we put on a whole other costume, including a dress, coat, earrings, hat, and gloves and shoes. And as you can see here, I have a quick rig on my shoes, which allows the buckle to stay intact, and then it just hooks on in front of the buckle. I have to have my gloves altered. And so as you can see here, the glove for my left hand is essentially similar to a sock. It is just like a long, tight glove. Our able-bodied hand gloves have grips on them, and so mine has that on my left hand, which allows me to grab my block comfortably. On a typical ragdoll block, you'll see it is a flat surface. On my block, I have an oval cutout, which is where I place my left arm to be able to grab the inside of the block.
So not a lot of people know this, but I actually do my own hair and makeup every single day before I go on air. And today, Sydney is actually going to show us how she does her hair and makeup before she steps into the spotlight.
And that iconic red lip and French twist.
Ta-da! It's showtime.
Now in her 5th season as a Rockette, Sydney aims to inspire others to pursue their dreams no matter the obstacles.
It's truly one of the most humbling things I could ever do is help people find their own confidence and find their assurance. And it's honestly, it helps me to be able to know other people who go through similar things. It makes me stronger, it makes me better, it makes me happier. And so to be able to do that for other people is an honor.
Now let's take a live look outside. Liv, is it going to be raining all day tomorrow? Is there some hope out there?
There is some hope out there. By about mid-afternoon, it looks like we'll get through with most of the rain, but it is going to be chilly. Right now, you can sort of see that cloud cover and some of that storm system getting closer to us from the west, but for the rest of the afternoon, it's looking pretty sunny and nice out there. Our high today is 52 in New York, 51 out east, but if you're north of about White Plains, we're looking at highs just in the 40s, like Hartford, Poughkeepsie, and Monticello just has a high of 42. And then our lows tonight in the city will be 43, a little bit warmer down the shore at 47. But again, north of New York, White Plains, we're looking at lows in the 30s, including Monticello has a low of 30, so below freezing for them tonight. Now, how much rain are we expecting tomorrow? Close to an inch, it looks like, for the most of us. So definitely between half an inch and an inch around the tri-state area, which is much needed because, you know, we're in a drought. And then for the areas expecting snowfall, which really in our region is just up in Monticello, several inches expected, but we could see a lot more in parts of New York State. Then looking at our 7-day forecast, once that rain and snow is through, looking at cooler temperatures to start next week. Morgan.
Looking forward to that sun. Thank you, Liv. And that's your news block for now. I'm Morgan Mackay. Thanks for joining us. Tune in to the 5 o'clock news on Fox 5 and right here on Fox Local for all the day's news as it develops. We'll see you back here tomorrow.